Hi guys, this is a video that I've been kind of unsure about making. I've had this idea in my drafts for like months now, and I wasn't sure if I was going to film it or not, but I was thinking about it more this week and I decided it would be a good topic to talk about. This week I wanted to talk about losing friendships, more specifically a really close friend of yours because you lose connection. Nothing to do with any romance or anything. This is like not niche at all. Like this is something that so many of us go through all the time, like really frequently. It's definitely not like a rare occurrence. And I feel like hearing another perspective on it could be really helpful or beneficial. And that's why this week I thought it could be nice to share my perspective on it and like my experience with it, sort of like very vaguely, very broad. So I'm obviously not gonna like name drop, but once in a while I feel like it is good to talk about things like this just because life is not always happy. There are things that happen that can be upsetting, can make you sad. And this is one of the more sad things. So I feel like this is really good to talk about because even though there's no like bad reason why it happens, like you don't get in an argument, there's not like an underlying issue, no like large problem you guys were having, your friendship just ends. This can be really hard to deal with, and I personally have an old friend that this happened with. I was really close with them. I spent a lot of time with them like every single day, and then we got to college and that kind of wavered a little bit. We still talked, but after our first year of college it kind of just like completely stopped. We just stopped hanging out, never saw them. Tried making plans with them. I would text them every once in a while, be like, hey, what are you up to? Do you want to hang out? And then I was never texted back, or I was never contacted again by them. And I realized like it's just me reaching out, and that shouldn't happen. You know, if they really wanted to hang out with me, they could also reach out. And that's kind of where you start to feel the sting. I guess we're not really as close as we used to be. You've moved on, you've made your own new friends. You know, I kind of have my new friends, but I still want to be your friend, but you don't seem like you're as interested in being my friend anymore. Totally fine. But it does hurt, it sucks. It's a really hard thing to go through, especially when you really cherish that friendship, and I really did, you know. I still have no issue with this person at all. It's just really sad, and that's why I wanted to kind of share this. It's like, there may not be a reason. It could just be a disconnect. You know, I would get sad about it a lot, and I was like, is it something that I did? Is it something that they did? You know, maybe there's a reason why, but sometimes there just is no reason and you just grow apart, and that's a really hard thing to accept. You know, I always want to find a reason for everything. I need there to be like some form of closure, but sometimes there is none, and you shouldn't go out searching for it like endlessly because it will consume you if you think about it too much and like worry about it a lot. And so that's kind of what I've grown to understand. And the biggest thing I want to say is that you don't have to like shit talk this person because they don't want to be your friend or they don't want to hang out or anything. Like, by no means do you have to do that or feel that way about them. You know, this person that I'm thinking about specifically, I have no issue with them. I still love the friendship that we had. No bad blood at all. I don't talk shit about them or anything. Like, I was talking to someone who was talking shit about them and I got really mad. So I was still like loyal in that scenario, but there doesn't need to be bad blood just because that relationship has ended. And so I want to make that very clear. Like, just because you're not friends with someone anymore because of a disconnect, because you grow apart, doesn't mean you have to hate them. Like, by no means. I have actually seen this person around recently, and I got really anxious, honestly. Like, I've seen them, I think twice, like 2 times, just when I've been around campus, and I like ran the other way. Like, I was so nervous. It was kind of like a guilt feeling, like I feel like I can't see them. I feel like it'll be really weird if I see them, and that's really bad, but it just gives me some anxiety. And I'm not sure if any of you guys can relate to that component of it, but it does stress me out thinking that I might run into them on campus because I don't know what to say. At this point, it's been years since I've contacted them, since we've hung out, since we've talked, and we're probably just completely different people at this point. And I've only recently started to accept the fact that I need to like let it go. I feel like the end of friendships a lot of the time can be a lot worse than like the end of an actual relationship, like dating wise, because I feel like with the end of like a romantic relationship, you get a little more clarity versus the end of a friendship, because that can just like fall apart without you even knowing. And so for that reason, I feel like friendships ending can be really daunting on you, and it can be really hard to cope with, especially if you were really close. Because I consider them one of my closest friends, and I was close with their family. You know, we got along really well. It was just like pretty sad to see that kind of go away. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I know it's kind of like a sad video, but I feel like it's good to talk about these things every once in a while. It's a super normal thing. I promise it's nothing wrong with you. Sometimes these things just happen. Anyway guys, that's all I have for this week. So feel free to comment down below if you want to add anything, share anything, like share an experience, relate to an experience, or just comment on like anything that I talked about today. As always, I'd love to hear from you guys. So yeah, but apart from that, I will see you next Saturday with another video. So until then,